Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Frivolous Views. My name is Carlene. It is my views, which are frivolous, that I'll be sharing with you. Today, I want to talk about a book called The Blackbird of Chernobyl, written by Ann McMan. This book was released just 2 days ago on July 9th. I've had the privilege of having read it quite some time ago. And I've actually read it somewhere in the vicinity of four times, actually. Um, and so I want to talk a little bit about this book. I am coming to you from St. Paul, Minnesota, at the Golden Crown Literary Society Conference. If you're unfamiliar with the Golden Crown Literary Society, it is a 501c3 organization that focuses on um, the literary pursuits of the Sapphic world. And again, as I've mentioned before, that covers everything under that umbrella. Um, so um, it's basically women loving women in whatever form that happens. Um, and this is the 20th annual conference. So it's the 20-year anniversary of the conference, which is kind of a milestone and it's kind of nifty. And so I thought I would do this review while I was here, since the book was, like I said, released the day before the conference began. And Ann McMan has been running around the conference talking to people and doing panels and doing readings and signing books. And I have been walking up to everybody that I could possibly find, especially if they were near the bookseller table and near this book, um, basically saying, no, you need to buy this book. You just need to buy this book. This is the book you want to read. Um, so let me talk a little bit about this book. So The Blackbird of Chernobyl, if you look at the cover there over my shoulder, um, it's basically a coffin with a blackbird on it. So what is this all about? Well, let me start by saying that this is the most romancy romance that Anne McMan has ever romanced. It is full on a romance. It really hits that trope. I guess you could call it an enemies to lovers type of book. Um, it is told from the perspective of our main character, Lila. It is third person, it is not first person, but it pretty much all comes from her perspective. We see all of it from her perspective. Now, who are the players here? Well, Lila, as I mentioned, is um, a goth chick, I guess you could say. She's a mortician. She works in her family's um, funeral home. Her father has just retired, and now she is going to be in charge. Now, the thing about Lila is that she usually works downstairs, with the bodies, embalming, preparing, so on and so forth. So, kind of the whole upstairs thing doesn't quite work for her. She's, like I said, goth, rather macabre. Um, she's about death, basically. She's about death. Um, and so, knowing this, her father takes it upon himself to hire someone to help with that side of the business, um, the living side of death, if you will. Um, and she is Lila's exact opposite. She is upbeat and she is perky and she's colorful. She wears colors other than black. Um, and she's kind of a marketing genius, marketing influencer. And on top of it, her name is Sparkle. So that tells you a little bit. It's kind of, if you've seen the TV show on Netflix, Wednesday, think of it in terms of Wednesday Addams meets Enid Sinclair. It's that kind of a thing. Um, she's Sparkle is empathetic and she's, you know, like I said, perky. So clearly Lila isn't really happy about this. Um, it's like a whatever. But everybody else seems to think it's just awesome and it's just great. So she kind of doesn't have a choice but to go with it. Now, here's some of the things about Anne McMan and her books. First of all, they are fabulously written. McMan has a way with words that is just so nuanced. She understands the English language and a few other languages, quite frankly, but she really understands the English language and how to use it to accomplish what she wants to accomplish. There are sometimes that I'll go back and read a sentence, read a paragraph, just for the joy of reading it, because it's such a beautiful passage, or it's such a humorous passage, or it's just written so nicely that I want to experience it again. It never has anything to do with me having to go back and go, wait, what did I just read? Or if I do say that, it's more, what did I just read? It's that kind of thing. But it's beautiful, beautiful writing, which is always fantastic. Um, and she and I mentioned humor. Anne McMan is probably one of the funniest people I know. Um, I'm making the desk shake. I'm sorry. I'm not used to this desk. Um, but she's probably one of the funniest people I know. Um, She has an incredible sense of humor. She has a very intelligent sense of humor. Um, and the way she wields it is also intelligent. And one of the things that you find in her books is there will be references to history, references to mythology, references to religion. Um, the woman can actually quote the Bible better than some clergy that I know. Um, but there will be pop culture references, um, just cultural references. And like I said, her humor is just amazing. And that's one of the things about her writing too, is that the dialogue is so good that you can kind of hear it in your head. You can hear it happening that way. You can hear the speed of it when it's written. There's a lot of banter, and you can hear that quip kind of notion going back and forth. Um, and that really, really helps. And what's really great about this too is, like I said, this is Lila's journey. So it's mainly told from her perspective. It's third person, but it's her perspective. We don't have that omniscient narrator going into the heads of the other characters. It sticks with Lila. But through this remarkable dialogue, we really get into the minds of the other characters, or at least, it feels like we do. But we really get into their mindset. We really understand them. There's true character development. And like I said, that's all without, that kind of break from, okay, we've had Lila's perspective. Now let's go over here to Sparkle's perspective and let's go to this person's perspective. And it doesn't happen that way. It sticks with Lila, but we still get that sense of who the people are. And most of that, the majority of that, 99.9% of that is done through the dialogue. And like I said, McMahon just has a real way with words. and with timing of the dialogue, and it's really amazing. It's really outstanding. Um, Now another thing that McMahon is excellent at is creating characters. And she has created a batch of secondary characters in this book that are just so much fun. Um, they're varied. You've got uh, G-string and ham bone, um, who work at the funeral home, who are brothers. One is white, one is black. Um, One is, 6 foot something, the other one's like 5'2". Um, but you've got them working there and just the way they talk. And then you've got Rita Kitty, who does hair and makeup for the funeral home, who again, she has her way, she has um her method, her pattern of speaking that comes through very clearly. Um, You've got the gentleman who brings the bodies from the coroner's office. His name is Dash. Uh, Lila's father calls him DoorDash. Um, and you've got his character is he doesn't say a lot. When he does say something, wow, you want to pay attention to it. And there's Kay Stover. Kay Stover is the financial person, um, and has been there, for 30 years, and is basically, you know, someone important to Lila. And she's cased over. She's not Kay, she's cased over. It's like Rita Kitty. She's not Rita, she's Rita Kitty. Um, and so they all have this very wonderful, like I said, varied and diverse background and way of being in the story and impacting Lila's life. It's really, 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 really quite fun. Um, Now, excuse me. Um, the story, one of the things I really like about the story is it's not a high angst story. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me some angst. I do. I love those stories that kind of take me on the roller coaster ride and all that other good stuff. This isn't one of them. Is not to say there's not conflict. That is not to say there's not emotion. It's all there, but it's a non-angsty romance, which is really nice. And it has depth to it, which is also really nice. Um, it's formulaic, but McMahon does such wonderful things with romance formula, that you just have a really good time with it. The things that happen within the story, to Lila, to Sparkle, to um, Kay Stover, to G String and Hambone, to Lila's parents, they're at once you go, oh yeah, okay. And on the other side you go, wait, what? How is that even possible? But it all works. That's what's so beautiful about it, is that it all works. Now, why is it called the Blackbird of Chernobyl? Well, Lila unintentionally, unwittingly becomes a viral social media sensation based on one, starts out as one post to Instagram that somebody made of her, and they dubbed her um, the Blackbird of Chernobyl, also the Diva of Death. And it kind of spirals out of control as viral things do. Um, and so she kind of has to I guess the angst in the book that exists comes with her having to deal with going from, look, I like being alone. I like being myself. I like my dark clothes, and I like being in the basement downstairs of the funeral home, doing my mortician duties. And now all of a sudden I'm out in the world and I'm this public figure and I can't go anywhere without people taking pictures of me. Um, and so, like I said, wherever she goes, she has to deal with this. And those of you who are Golden Crown or GCLS folks who have been to conferences will appreciate some of this. Lila and Sparkle end up going to a conference for the funeral directors association, and those of you who have been around GCLS for a long time already know what I'm talking about. And it ends up being in Vegas. Um, and just the fun stuff that gets involved in Vegas. And it's like, you know, amazing, but it's coupled with them getting messages from what's going on at home and just hearing the stories about what's happening at home is just hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. And what's really cool about this too is that throughout the book, periodically there are obituaries, and the obituaries are fantastic. And then just hearing about, you know, what goes on at some of these funerals and some of these memorial services, it's just, I laughed my fool butt off, honestly. And it takes a lot in a book to make me laugh. But McMan does it in spades in this book. In spades. It's a fun read. Like I said, it's Wednesday meets Enid. And, if there were fan fiction out there about that, wow, that would be awesome. But it's just so good. Um, so one of the things that I truly recommend is that you purchase this book. And like I said, I've been going around to anybody who'll listen to me saying, buy that book, buy the book. I'll pick it up and put it in their hands, say that you want to read this book. Um, and Anne has, been promoting her book while she's here. Like I said, she did a reading of it and so on and so forth. And what's really great is this is this today, Thursday. Today was the first full day of the conference. The conference started yesterday on Wednesday. It was a half day. And so today is the first full day of the conference. We still have, there's still Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And the Blackbird of Chernobyl has sold out. So people have been listening to our messages of, you really want to read this book. Now, I have not yet listened to the audiobook. I haven't had an opportunity yet. But if it's anything like the work Christine Williams has done on McMan's other books, it's probably going to be fabulous. Christine Williams is Ann McMan's narrator, audiobook narrator. She's done all of McMan's books, and she's really, really good. She understands McMan's brain. She understands McMan's writing, and so she really gets into the narration, and she's quite excellent at it. In fact, um, Christine Williams won a Goldie Award, a Golden Crown Literary Award last year for her performance, her audiobook performance of McMan's um, Dead Letters from Paradise, which is another book I recommend, and I will review that at a later date. But yeah, so with The Blackbird of Chernobyl, it's just a really nice romance, but it's so damn funny. And it's unexpected because you don't expect a romance to A, be called The Blackbird or Chernobyl, but B, to be taking place at a funeral. You don't expect death or I'm sorry, not a funeral, but a funeral home, but you don't expect death kind of to be humorous. And it runs the spectrum of humor from, dark humor to light humor to sarcasm to irony. It's the macabre, everything in between. Um, and we probably want to ask McMahon for her recipe for ginger juice, just, FYI. But yeah, so this is a book I really recommend. A, for the story itself. B, because it's written so, so beautifully. It's just, like I said, nuanced and detailed. And C, it's got fantastic characters that you just want to be friends with. That's what's really great about it. It's like, I want to hang out with Dash and just listen to him the few times that he speaks. And I want to kind of sit in a corner and just, giggle at Rita Kitty. And I want to hang out with G String and Hambone and just listen to them talk. Um, it's just a great cast of characters. Um, and I'd like to be a fly on the wall and watch, the what happens between Lila and Sparkle. I mean, the woman's name is Sparkle. But yeah, it's really great. So I recommend you get this book. Um, this is what it looks like, and I'm going to put the link for it down below. And you can get it from the Bywater website. It is available in ebook. It is also available paperback if you want to purchase the paperback, and it is available on Audible in the audiobook format. So if you have an Audible account, you can use one of your credits to get that. But please, please run out, get this book. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to have a chat with Ann McMan in the very near future. Um, and again, full disclosure, she's a friend of mine, but I've been reading her books since before she was a friend of mine. She became a friend of mine because of her books. I met her at a conference and was just like, "Hi, love your books." And we got to know each other. But every book that she does, it's a winner. Um, this might be one of my favorites. Well, I say that every time. I say that every time because every time it just gets better. She just keeps building on what it is she does well. But her Jericho series, Dead Letters from Paradise, Beowulf for Cretans, which is a favorite of mine too. These are all fantastic, fantastic, fantastic books. So click the link below, go buy the book. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please leave a comment. I would love, especially if you've read the book. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not agree with my assessment? What did I forget? What should I add? Please don't give any spoilers if you have read it. I'm spoiler free as much as possible. So I try not to say anything that's not included either on the back cover blurb or on the official publisher's website. Um, so please don't break that promise. Don't give any spoilers, but please like, subscribe, comment, help get the algorithms to help me out. And like I said, hopefully I'll be able to talk with Ann McMan in the very near future. Please go buy this book. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you enjoy the book. You have a fantastic day ahead of you. Thanks so much.